Okay, so at the 12 o'clock position is the purple Zerg. We will have FlaF. And at the 3 o'clock is the teal Protoss, Mr. 0001, aka kAra. So a pretty intense match here straight off the bat. This is the round of 32. I believe there were something like 45 participants or so. So there is a round of 64, but like half the people don't have to play it. So FlaF and kAra both went straight to the round of 32. But one of these guys will be eliminated right here. Hey, we got a sub already, Ancient Scion X. Thank you so much for the sub, dude. Wait, weren't you giving me a hard time earlier on about subs? Oh man, look at you. He's on the inside, Ancient Scion X. He's just a fluffy little teddy bear, fluffy little subscribing teddy bear. Even though he's pretending to be all hard on the outside. Is he? Wow, he didn't actually pull the Overlord back. That seems bad. I mean, because the Overlord vision is marginally longer than the Nexus vision. I think the reason for that is the vision range starts from the middle of the building, so you can get the Overlord. You can see like the tip of the Nexus, and then you can turn back and go around, so the Protoss can't see you. But he actually didn't do that. Now, conversely, looks like this is an overpool, by the way. Conversely, you could also say that that makes absolutely no difference, because on Python, most Protosses will actually send a probe to the top of their base to actually look for the Overlord. So even if you did that trick, the Protoss would scout you anyway, which I think is definitely a fair point. I think that would be the most likely scenario. So, you know, just a little thing to think about. I mean, if I was FlaF, I would try it anyway, because in the 1% chance that the Protoss doesn't do that, then you will get a scouting advantage. Anyway, kAra gonna be quite annoying here, as you can see, but against an overpool, it's not the end of the world. The Zerg just makes 6 Zerglings and it's fine. Interestingly, we have a 2-gate opening here from kAra that's obviously completely scouted by the Overlord. Now, oh wow, he actually forced the hatchery at an off location. That's it's a little bit awkward. I mean, against the 2-gate, he would have built, you know, he wouldn't have built a 3rd hatchery at a 3rd base anyway, so building the next hatchery here would be fine. But I think the 3rd hatchery will be a bit delayed. Like, he's not really going to be mining from his natural for a little while. And I was going to make another point. Oh yeah, kAra definitely would have preferred close ground positions here if you go 2-gate. Like, if you're on Python and you scout the Zergs in close positions, you can do some serious damage with a 2-gate. This is actually part of the controversy with that happened with Bonnet and True Touch last weekend, if you guys remember, where he missed the scout, so he didn't go 2-gate. The 2-gate is incredibly strong if you are on these close ground positions. Now, I don't actually know about the rush distance by ground between the close air bases. I mean, it's obviously longer than if FlaF was at the 6 o'clock. And it seems that kAra just chilling now with his 4 Zealots. Zergling's in position to actually backstab here for FlaF, but you can see kAra is careful about this. He knows this is a danger. I think he saw the Zerglings there, actually. You can see he knows exactly, because the Overlord is telling FlaF exactly when the Zealots move out. So there's always this risk of the backstab. This is really, really great. And you can see the 3rd hatchery now being made at the natural. It was actually quite important also for him to get this hatchery down early, because he wants the sunken colony. If he waited too long, like actually kill the pylon to build this, there was a potential that the Zealots would attack before he had time for the creep to spread and for him to make a sunken colony. But now he can just make this 3rd hatchery, and with the sunken colony here, this shouldn't really do anything. Yeah, you can see kAra's just gonna immediately back away. He knows it's not gonna do anything. Alrighty. Uh-oh, looks like Zealots might get trapped here. They're gonna try and run in behind the mineral line. Oh no, one guy gets isolated. Oh man, it's like the horror movie. This guy got left behind. He tripped on a rock and broke his leg, and they had to leave him for dead. Oh man, but it looks like it doesn't matter, because all of these Zealots will fall anyway. 8 Zerglings left over, but there is a solid ramp block here. And rather than trying to expand behind this, we are gonna see a tech follow-up from kAra. You can see FlaF already starting to move his Overlords away. because now is the danger where you can start having things that actually kill the Overlord. For example, he could make a single Dragoon and actually kill this Overlord. And an early Overlord at this point is quite painful for FlaF. I mean, you can see he's only at 19 of 19. You know, not a huge income yet. So one Overlord is actually very, very painful. Looks like just getting the Hydra Den to deal with this. And we have this Citadel here. Is this just going to be like some one-base Speed Zealot craziness? He's going to Forge as well. He could use the Speed Zealots to do some crazy pressure and then make cannons down here and actually take his Nexus. On Python, of course, you typically, or you very often see one-base builds because of how wide the natural is. It's very difficult to actually wall this effectively. So these kinds of builds are quite common. Now, it is actually just going to be Templar Archives without a Stargate. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, the thing is, DTs are incredibly strong even if you can see them, right? So, you know, they one-shot Zerglings, they two-shot Hydralisks. If neither the Hydras nor the DTs have any upgrades, the DTs will two-shot Hydralisks. So even if you can actually see them with your Overlords, sometimes you can just man-mode it and just walk in with DTs and kill everything anyway. It looks like one Zealot and Dragoon actually just holding the line here. It looks like 8 Zealots going for the attack. The second Sunken Colony should finish by the time the attack actually gets here. It's going to be very, very close. It's already morphing into that Sunken. He's going for the attack here. Not that many links left, actually. And this could be slightly problematic for FlaF. But no, it looks like kAra is going to pull back. Didn't even finish off the first Sunken Colony. But he does get some scouting information, though. He sees the Hydra Den. He sees the Hydralisks being produced. There's actually no lair yet, but I don't think he knows that. That's actually quite an important piece of information, though, because, you know, then there's no risk of Mutalisks suddenly showing up in your base or anything like that, or even Lurkers, really. But I think Mutas is the more common response against this one base style. And it looks like 2 Speedlings are actually walking into the base. Now, kAra actually doesn't know exactly what's going on. So he saw a Hydralisk then, he saw a few Hydras, but that could just be in response to the Zealot pressure. So he still can't say for certain that there is no Spire, there's no Mutas coming. So he actually morphed an Archon straight away and made 2 cannons in his main base. You see this is all anti-Muta defense, right? This obviously will do nothing against Hydras. The Archon actually will become the 2 Archons in particular will become a liability when the Hydras come out, because Archons are not particularly good against Hydras. You'd much rather have Storm here, and still no lair from FlaF. It's looking very much like he will potentially just go for the kill with his Hydralisks to, I mean, effectively just do a 3-hatch Hydra bust here with all these Hydras. And now, if I was kAra, I'd be quite scared. Seeing the speed finish already for these Hydras, now you know he's actually committing to Hydras rather than just making them as an emergency kind of panic defense. But here come the DTs. Now there's no Overlord here, and remember, without the lair, you can't get Overlord speed. So he will have to bring slow Overlords forward and actually protect them as well against the Protoss army. And he's having to move back here. Obviously, nothing he can do against the Dark Templars. He's in full retreat now. Look at the 6 o'clock, though. One Overlord coming in. He's got to protect the Overlord, though. The Archons can't actually kill it. The Archon's actually going straight for the Overlord. No, that might be a mistake. No, he did deliberately target that. So now the DT can do its work. But no, it's another Overlord, a second Overlord coming in from the back. And again, that Overlord is slowly crawling towards the Protoss base. This could be very, very dangerous for kAra right now. The supplies are dead even. That Overlord kill did actually supply block FlaF, and you can see a lot of cannons are being made. He's gonna have to make so many cannons because he will not have any Storm to help deal with this. Pretty much all the Speedlots have died. The DTs have died as well. And, well, it's gonna be quite close here. The Archon's at way less than half health. You can see he's making a lot of stuff. He's actually making a shield battery to recharge the shields on his Archons. That is a very interesting idea. Mayor Cafe says, will you commentate an Algrim game later? It's definitely a possibility. We'll see what the best games are. Also, just a note, guys, there is, of course, a stream delay, as usual, on this stream. So if I take a while to respond to you in chat, then that would be the reason. You know, this is a very, very high level, big event, major event, so I don't want any kind of craziness going on there. And looks like 3rd and 4th gateway are on the way. The Hydra Bust has actually kind of been stopped here. I actually thought kAra was just going to die straight up, but actually gets the additional 3 cannons in times, recharges the shields on his Archons, and he's actually going to be okay. But FlaF is going to continue being aggressive. Look at this. He takes the base in between the Zerg and Protoss main. I mean, this base, I'm pretty sure you could like put a High Templar here and storm the drones on these 3 patches or something, right? Like storm, I'm pretty sure you could storm like right there. I don't really know actually. I wonder if like a ranged Dragoon standing here can, probably not actually, probably not. Like a siege tank can shoot across there, but I don't think the Dragoon actually has that much range. But we do have a High Templar on the high ground here getting ready to storm. And presumably storm research will be done by now, so I think kAra actually will be quite safe. And kAra now, interestingly, should be in quite a good position in this game. The lair has finished. I mean, I guess FlaF is just gonna lurker contain kAra, right? He's just gonna set up a big line of lurkers. He's gonna hold the position now with Hydras, and he's gonna set up a big line of lurkers, and it's gonna be really annoying for kAra to break out of this. But until that happens, I mean, at the moment, kAra, ooh, that was a pretty big storm, but, you know, FlaF was already watching, so I'm not sure that was necessarily the most useful thing in the world. I really can't believe FlaF just took this base, though. I don't know why he wouldn't just take the top left. I thought taking that base meant he was going to continue being aggressive and actually just try and, you know, wear him down with Hydras, but here we go. Big attack coming in from FlaF. Nice storm dodge, or sorry, from kAra. Nice storm dodging by FlaF. He's just pulling back. He knows he can kind of fight, but he has to dodge the storms. There are 4 High Templar here. 2 of them have already morphed into an Archon. kAra's got to be careful not to get too antsy about morphing all those Archons, because even if you use your storms, you know, if you just wait a little bit, they will regenerate their energy, obviously. But 3 Archons rolling in very early in the game, and nice storm that time. FlaF was not paying attention, but he does lose one of his Archons and storms another one by mistake, and there are all the lurker eggs morphing. But this was quite an important move by kAra to push the Hydras back, so so FlaF no longer has the nice hold outside the Protoss base. He doesn't have time to set up the lurker container anymore. I guess kAra realized that was quite a significant danger there, and that's why he moved out. He's got 6 gateways now, pumping in his main base. Does he have the Robo? Wow, he actually doesn't appear to have even started the Robo yet, so he's not going to have obs for a really long time. These lurkers could actually be really painful for kAra, and look at this. kAra assumed the 3rd base was at the top left, and he sees the creep here. He's like, wait a minute, what the heck is going on over here? Oh man, and here we go, rolling in, and another Archon morphing, another storm used, but he cannot deal with the lurkers. He has no Robo, he has no obs, barely saving this High Templar. I mean, in theory, he could use 2 storms to kill a lurker, but that's if you're only killing 1 lurker with 2 storms, that's a pretty expensive trade there. But oh man, FlaF not paying attention on the top side. Again, another good storm, although he gets a decent amount of damage on his own units. More lurkers are coming in there. A big storm could affect them all, but it looks like no, they're all out of energy. No more energy on these High Templars. And it's going to lose his Archon as well. I think kAra needs to just back off here. He needs to just try and buy some time. Make sure he doesn't get lurker contained. But he can't deal with this anymore. If he still had 2 storms, that would be amazing to grab those 4 lurkers. I can't believe the Zerg is expanding. Let me look at this. You can see both the main base and the Zerg expansion on literally the same screen. I don't even need to move my StarCraft window in order to see what's going on here. All right, what is going on? Looks like Goon range is now on the way. Finally adding some Dragoons. Where is the Robo? Oh, it's over here. Okay, here's the Robo. Could you imagine if he somehow... Well, I can see there's nothing in the Zerg army that can actually range this pylon. That'd be really funny if he did, though. Oh, that's the second pylon, okay. So it looks like finally observers are on the way, but the thing is, I really like how kAra isn't just kind of running away to back to his base and being overly afraid of lurkers. He knows it's very important for him to keep the map control. But, ooh, nice snipe there on that Archon. But look at this freaking defense being set up. I'm still not convinced that this is the best base to take. I still think it would have been better for him to take the top left, but I mean, it's kind of working, I guess. He's holding on to it. I guess to be fair, this kind of like makes it so that there's only 1 point that he has to defend. See, if he had taken the top left, the Protoss army could bounce back and forth between the natural and the third, and there's a lot of space here that he can run around. Whereas by expanding here, he kind of draws all of the Protoss attention to the front, and the Protoss never attacks past it to the natural. You can see that, right? I mean, kAra is trying to go around, but you see he's going all the way around, and there's basically a line connecting the two bases, so I guess it just makes it easier to defend. Meanwhile, third Nexus has been set up. It's going to get spotted by a few Zerglings, but the cannons are already done. You know, the Protoss army, even though they couldn't kill the lurkers, were just kind of posturing and keeping map control. Nice snipe here, by the way. It's so interesting, FlaF, rather than doing High Templar snipes, is actually doing Archon snipes with his Hydralisks. The kAra should probably add some gateways, though, by the way. He's still only on 6 gateways, going to third base. I mean, technically 7 with this one. We could easily add, I think, 2 or 3 more gateways at this point. Oh, we have a drop, though. We have a drop. The Protoss army is all the way out over here. This is the danger when you're in close air positions. Big Doom drops are so easy to execute, and this is actually one benefit of having this base. It's such a close launching point, and here we go. 5 Overlords going into the main base. The Protoss army has no idea. Now he's going to see it's actually 7 Overlords coming in here. There's the big drop. He needs to pull his Protoss army back here, and remember, the bottom right base just doesn't have any units there, only a few cannons, so it's very easy for FlaF now to also attack the third base. Now that he knows the main Protoss army is coming back here, the observatory dies, the robotics might even die, so he's got 4 observers, thankfully, though, so it looks like even if he loses that, he should be able to keep all his observers, but it looks like, oh man, a lot of damage done here in the main base. The Hydralisks will fall, but look at the minimap. This is what I'm talking about. The entire Protoss army is in the main base, and now his third base is almost certainly going to fall. He built 1 High Templar from this gateway. It will have 1 Storm, but here comes the attack. Hydra Ling going to bust this open. Look at the minimap. Protoss army's coming down. He's actually pulling back. I think that's a mistake. I think he could have killed that for sure. Oh man, I am very surprised that FlaF pulled back here. I thought he did. I mean, there's only 3 finished cannons, right? Only 3 cannons there, and 1 storm. He just has to dodge 1 storm, and I think that base would have died. But as it stands, oh no, the big storms there on the Hydralisks, and there goes that attack. But here comes the drop again. The constant dropping. Now it is all becoming more clear about why he took this mineral-only base. This is just the perfect launching point to send units into the Protoss main. But look at this. Now kAra is a little bit more prepared, but he's still... Oh, wait, is there no obs? Oh, the obs were all with the main army. Okay, now the obs are coming back. What a nice action-packed game. Looks like FlaF, by the way, is also going to take the island base in between their bases. Meanwhile, a probe's checking the left side, making sure Zerg hasn't taken any of those. Looks like Queen's Assist on Hive is actually finished already, but I don't see any other actual Hive tech. I love how he's kind of pressed his sunken line all the way up against the edge here. Alrighty. Looks like people pointing out. Wait, hold on. Got another drop in the main base. I was trying to look at the chat. People pointing out that both these guys are actually 2v2 players. I know FlaF is a 2v2 player. Or possibly additionally a 2v2 player, but I'm too young and inexperienced to really know much about kAra. But anyway, looks like gonna pull back now. These drops seem to be getting less and less effective. You also have to be careful because even if the drop does damage, it's kind of like when Protoss recalls in PvT. On the one hand, yes, recall is extremely annoying, but if you recall like 12 Dragoons onto Spider Mines and they just kill themselves without doing that much damage, you are behind from the recall. And it's the same idea with the big drops, right? Look at the supplies. kAra got dropped 3 times at his main base, and he has double FlaF's supply right now. Now he's just going for the break. FlaF might be in trouble here. He doesn't have any Hive level units yet. I don't even know if he's got adrenal glands, and he was relying on the Sunken Lurkers for defense, but he's lost. All his Lurkers were actually on the side here. He's coming in now. Can he actually defend this? A lot of storms on the incoming Lurkers. Oh man, lots and lots of storms. I think he will be okay here though with that Lurker reinforcement. Yes, he will. He's pulling back now. It looks like no more energy on the High Templar. It's just going to morph some Archons, which is actually going to bug out the Goons a little bit. Oh man, look at the Archon morph bugging out the Goons. I think he actually should have just ran back to his main before morphing the Archons, and somehow FlaF actually cleans this up. I actually am surprised. I guess kAra must have way more probes than FlaF has drones, because kAra had like a 70 supply advantage at the beginning of that attack, and FlaF seems to have held it off without even that much difficulty. I'm actually really surprised at how easily FlaF held that off. I mean, kAra still has a 60 supply advantage right now, but his army looks tiny. So really, he must just have a billion probes. Oh, Kix letting me know that I have to add my event on Team Liquid. Thank you very much, Kix. I will do that after this game. Actually, maybe I can do that now. Hold on, let me see. All right, let me just quickly follow one of these dudes and head over to Team Liquid. Looks like nothing's happening in the game. All right, let me see. Telling you what's open. Qualifier number 4. Here we go. Oh no! I was gonna catch some overlords. Was that for a drop? Oh man, that was actually for a drop here. Fortunately, only one of the overlords does get picked off, it seems. Oh. And looks like a few random links running down. Look at this. FlaF is sending units to make sure that kAra can't take the 6 o'clock, because that would naturally be the next expansion point for Protoss, right? He would expand down like this. But kAra has a hidden base on the left side. Look at that. He's got a gateway. You can build some High Templar. You can even build a DT to block the ramp if he wants. And it's actually going to be not that easy for FlaF to break this. Having said that, he could technically drop it, but you can see kAra now building some cannons in here. I'm not a fan of this cannon though, since it blocks the gas mining. But now the Protoss army is heading over there now, just to make sure that it's going to be safe. Oh, he sees it though. Oh, look at that drop timing. Oh, it's just in time. He needs to attack Nexus. Wow, these Krakens are going to get it. The Protoss army is coming back, but I think the Krakens will get it. Look at how fast they kill the Nexus. It's only 6 Cracklings. The Zealots here, they can't save it. You can't save your buildings against Cracklings, my friend. Cracklings are OP, and he even saves 2 of the Cracklings and just runs away. Did you see how fast that Nexus died against 6 Zerglings, man? Holy. Alright. This is a best of 3 to creative. So, yes, I think every round in like every ESL tournament is always best of 3. Whoa, hello. I bet you that this just had a probe in it. I was like, oh, is it a storm drop? Nope. He wanted to take this base. He's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is he gonna drop a probe? He's not gonna drop a probe. And look at kAra just taking this natural as well. Uh-oh. Up, Nega? No. I mean, he baited out 2 storms. Now, the Zealots should probably attack the Nidus. The Zealots really probably should attack the Nidus, but it looks like he's just going after the drones. And now the main army's moving out with the good old Proberto. Good old Probius leading the charge. He's actually attacking the side here. You can see the main defense is actually on the bottom part, but he's actually attacking up into the natural. Meanwhile, a few units coming out of the Nidus Canal, but it seems that most of the drones have been taken down up in that base. And look at this. There's not very many defenses at the natural. This is a primarily Zealot force, though. If he just brings a few lurkers, he will be able to do quite well against this, but not a single lurker is actually at this base. FlaF this time might actually, the supply difference might actually kill him here. Look at this, 155 to 64, 3-1 as well for the Protoss. That's pretty sick, although 2-1 is actually done for the Zerg already. But here we go, lurkers and links coming in the back. Nice storm though, and I think this is going to be GG for FlaF. kAra taking game number 1 here in style. Very, very interesting stuff. I mean, very creative, I guess, expansion path there for FlaF to take the close mineral only in between the 2 mains and use that as a launching point for massive doom drops. But really, like the first drop I think did a lot of damage. The second and third drops, not so sure those were worth it. If he had actually killed the 3rd base, so I think the second drop went in when he went for the attack on the 3rd base. If he'd actually killed the 3rd base, that would have been great. But he actually didn't commit to that, which I thought was a bit strange. And at the top right position as the teal Zerg, we do have FlaF. At the bottom left as the blue Protoss, we do have kAra. kAra up 1-0 in the series. And for anyone just joining us, this is the 4th and final qualifier for the $16,000 Italian Esports Open event. So the qualifier system, it's a point system. At the end of today, the top 8 players in points will move on to the qualifier playoffs, where the top 8 will play down to the top 2, and the final 2 will be invited to the LAN event that will be held at the Lucca Esports Cathedral in Italy. They will get all their travel expenses paid, and they'll get a shot at a piece of the $16,000 prize pool, which is crazy. Hey, thanks to Shocks TV for the subscription. Thanks so much, dude. Appreciate it a lot. And yeah, hope you're enjoying the qualifier so far. By the way, guys, not only do you get your travel expenses paid if you're one of the players qualified to go to the LAN, but I believe you get at least $1,000. So even if you go there and you lose every single game, you still get $1,000 as like the what is it, like 9th to 16th place prize or something like that. Or wait, no, I guess it's only 8 players, so like 5th to 8th. So that, I mean, that's just insane. Like that's way more than winning, you know, an entire weekly tournament for like a month or something. Because most of the weekly tournaments are like in the $100 range. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, looks like overpool, expand here, all that normal stuff. kAra going for a 1-base build, by the way, and he's not 2-gating. So last game on Python, we saw him go 2-gate in his main, and this time he's actually going for a tech build, which is actually going to be better for him, I think, since they're cross map. If he was going for 10-12 gate cross map, that would be a little bit painful, I feel. But in this case, with the tech build, I think that's actually better, because then you're not at a huge risk of getting Zergling countered, which is it's a relatively popular response to seeing 1-gate tech, is just to spam Zerglings and kill them. Wait, what? He gas stole? Interesting. And there's the cancel. I mean, gas steal PvZ, not something you usually see since the Zerg fast expands anyway and can just take their natural gas. I don't think that would have really done anything significant, but I'm not really sure. And looks like, ooh, we're gonna have a little drone block. Ah, sneaky, sneaky. Ooh, almost let him up actually by accident. It's like drone guy going for the kill steal. I mean, it's kind of funny because without gas, there's literally nothing he had to hide, right? You can't build any tech buildings without gas, right? Besides the spawning pool, which obviously is there already. So, I mean, that was pretty cute, but I'm not sure that actually did anything useful. I mean, I guess sure, maybe you could say, well, it stopped the probe from running around in his base, but that probe was pretty much dead anyway, I think. I guess that guarantees the probe death. So what is the tech gonna be? Stargate, right? Stargate Citadel? Stargate Citadel indeed. So the old school, the classic SareDT opening off 1 base. Where you hunt down the overlord that's near your natural, and then you use DTs to basically make a super safe expansion. Oh, this is 1 hit away from death. He actually got bugged out and didn't smack it though. I think there's a damaged one in the main mineral line. If you can actually find the damaged one, you can actually it can actually target it. You need to left click all the drones though, because obviously you can't multi-select your enemy's units. So he would need to click each individual drone to actually see this. Good players will do that though. Good players will actually individually left click all the drones like super fast, just to check what their health are and attack the low health ones. Oh, it's a Hydroden. It's a lair as well though. Is it? What's he actually going? Is he going lurkers? Is this just for like overlord speed or something? Oh, got him. Where's the first Corsair? Okay, it's Temple Archives and Forge. For a second, I thought that was 2 Forges. I was like, what? Why would you go 2 Forges off 1 base? But it is actually is actually Templar Archives and Forge. So you build some cannons here as well to help in the defense. But primarily, the thing that's guaranteeing that you don't die is the DT. Because you can see, no Overlords around here. Actually, FlaF pulled all his Overlords back. So the Corsair, looking at the obvious locations, doesn't see it there, so it goes straight over to the Zerg base. Now he's going to push down here slowly. Might just give up that pylon. That's completely fine. He's actually going to fight for it. You have to be careful though, because link speed is done. So this is the problem with moving down. I think it would have been better to just sack this and let rather than let the links in your base. I mean, he's killed 2 probes and got a complete scout off, which is basically the value. I mean, the 2 probes is the same value, you know, roughly as the pylon, right? But now he's also got vision. I would say the 2 probes is worth more than the 1 pylon even. Anyway, it looks like no Overlord kills yet, actually. And FlaF is just getting drones. He's got the 3rd hatchery here. I mean, I guess FlaF is actually, he's not going to try and like do an all-in counter to this. He's just gonna play the long game. In which case, I think he should probably expand relatively soon. If he's just gonna let the Protoss get this expansion, he should probably take his 3rd. I guess the DT is stopping him from doing that until he can actually get his Overlord speed done. He's also getting the Spire, going to be able to get some Scourge and whatnot to help deal with those Corsairs. But you can see now, because he can't actually touch the DTs, he's just going to leave this alone. It's going to be completely fine. Now I'm going to switch into High Templars, not over making DTs. That's actually quite important. I think he only made 1. Yeah, he only made 1. This actually can be risky though. So this is the question. See, you don't want to over make DTs because as soon as Overlord speed finishes and he's got enough Hydras, the Sayle DT isn't that effective anymore. It's mainly kind of like an early game tool before the Zerg gets any of the appropriate tech to deal with it. But really, what you want to do is get 1 or 2 and then switch back into High Templars. Now, if you can get away with just making 1, that's actually great, because DTs are quite expensive. They're 125 minerals and 100 gas. So you want to, so if possible, you make 1, you go straight into High Templars, and that's great. The risk is that if you're walking around out on the map with the DTs and the Zerg does decide to all-in counter you, and somehow, for example, you missed an Overlord, and it's actually close to your base, you can immediately die to the Hydra Blast. This is actually something we saw happen, I think a couple of weeks ago. I think it might have been DeWalt actually doing it, or it was some very, very high-level Protoss. He made just 1 DT, and I think like there was an Overlord at his 3rd base or something that he didn't see, and the Overlord just floated over, the Hydras came in, and he couldn't do anything about it because the Storm wasn't ready yet, didn't have another DT. Actually, I think even the Overlord might not even have been there, but because there was no 2nd DT, the Hydras just walked into his base and killed him, and it looked really dumb from a spectator point of view, but you can see this is kind of what the build is supposed to be. You just have to be very, very careful and you know, make sure you're aware of what the Zerg is doing. I think, yeah, I was gonna say that one should die because those Scourge could just turn into it. Interestingly, 2 cannons actually being made in the mineral line here. kAra's slightly concerned about a Muta switch. It's interesting. He did the same thing. Last game because he didn't get a scout off and he didn't get the Stargate. So, I mean, he didn't get the scout off in the main, so he had no idea if it was going to be Mutas or not. But in this case, since he already has the Stargate making the Corsairs, I wonder if that's perhaps slightly too much. Like, maybe you only need the 1 cannon. You can place it slightly higher, so it covers both the Stargate and the main mineral line. But 2 cannons is completely fine. It is definitely fine because, I mean, Mutas are really annoying to deal with. Wow, look at this! He actually 100% thinks that Mutas are coming. Now, we obviously can see that it's just Lurkers and Hydras right now. I mean, maybe he could make a batch of Mutas right now. But kAra is remarkably paranoid about the Mutas. So far that he made a Dark Archon. That is really interesting. See, normally the Protoss, if you were really that scared, you would just continue to make Corsairs, right? I mean, a Corsair costs marginally more than 1 DT, but it's about the same. So the cost of this is about 2 Corsairs, and you have to research Maelstrom, which is 100. So basically, the cost of getting the Dark Archon and 1 Maelstrom is almost the same as 3 Corsairs, right? And the 3 Corsairs will be much more consistent in their usage, I feel, and also be able to harass overlords, you know, just run around and be annoying. Whereas the Dark Archon is literally kind of a one-shot wonder. When it works, it's beautiful. But in this case, it doesn't do anything, right? Now oh my god, the High Templar just killed himself. Now the Lurkers come up, and well, the 3rd base is denied. You know, the Dark Archon is useless. He's got a Robo, but no Observatory yet. And I'm a little bit surprised considering he started going Corsairs, and then he stopped. And just made all the anti-muted defense. Yeah, I mean, there could definitely be a valid reason for this. I can't think of it at the moment. I guess it's just cool. It just looks cool. And he has actually gone double forge now. I think this is good. I think, well, actually, I was gonna say it's good once you get your 3rd base. He actually hasn't got his 3rd base yet. I can actually see there's a bit of discussion about this in the Twitch chat. Yeah, usually you can't really afford this, like double forge upgrades, if you're only on 2 base. If the Protoss actually gets the faster 3rd base, then I think that's good. But in this situation, obviously, he's getting denied, which is actually extremely painful for kAra right now. Because you can see FlaF already getting his 4th base, gonna set up the Lurker Contain. There was a lot of resources committed to anti-muted defense that don't really do anything right now. Hive Meemaw is on the way as well. It looks like finally got the Observer over here, so going to be able to take out these Lurkers. But I don't think FlaF cares about this at all. If I were FlaF, I'd be very happy with how much the Protoss 3rd has been delayed. Because on Fighting Spirit in particular, it's very easy to... I think Gorinich is messaging the wrong person now. but I think it's very easy to get the 3rd base on this map. You know, like Terrans in particular, well, like in TVP, you can get this super duper fast. In PvZ, it's kind of the same idea. You can just turtle a little bit. So FlaF now has nice map control. kAra marginally ahead on supply, but Protoss is kind of supposed to be quite ahead on supply, so he's actually in good shape right now. Interestingly, the Dark Archon has now had enough time to build up energy for 2 Maelstroms. I believe Maelstrom is 100 energy. And even though I said it wouldn't be that useful against Hydra Lurk, there is still the potential where if, for example, if FlaF has all of his Lurkers on a single control group and he runs, you know, a whole bunch of Lurkers in and he gets Maelstromed, like 6 Lurkers Maelstromed, before they burrow, that would be huge. That would be absolutely huge. And I think it's pretty common, right, for Zergs to have all their Lurkers on the same hotkey, because that's what allows you to burrow. If you have Lurkers on a mixed hotkey with other units, you can't actually burrow them when you select that hotkey. So yeah, it looks like we are moving out now. It looks like 1-1 has finished. And we're going for the first attack. Alright, what is going on? Looks like... Oh! High Templar Snipe does get it. Very, very nice. That was what, like 8 Zerglings? Very, very good trade there for the High Templar. There are still 3 High Templar left. Nice Storm, though, on the incoming Zerglings. He does lose the single Dragoon. That's still a max energy High Templar. This one looks like it's out of energy, and is that 2 max? Yeah, basically 2 max energy. That's 4 Storms ready. And it looks like having some pro problems. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, is that really? He's only on 6 gateways still. He's on, okay, 7 gateways on 3 base. Needs to add more gateways again. He's actually taking the middle. This actually looks crazy and would have been a little bit ridiculous if I saw this, you know, back in 2014 or whatever it was. But this, I believe, is actually becoming somewhat of a more accepted strategy in PvZ on Fighting Spirit, because taking a 4th base on this map is very, very tricky. Taking the top left natural is super far away and allows Zerg to basically attack 2 points. You have 2 weak points, the new expansion at the top left and your natural. Zerg can very easily swing forces back and forth between those points due to their mobility. Protoss, unless you're very good at splitting your army, can often find themselves overcommitting to one side or the other, and you either lose the expansion or you get Zerg units all in your natural, and it's really, really annoying. Taking the middle is actually, especially since they're cross-map, means you are effectively expanding along your attack path. You know, it's the same idea for Terrans in TVP, for example. You want to expand in the same direction that your mech army is pushing, because you don't have the mobility to keep up with your opponent. So you just go where your army is, right? The army's attacking the natural, fine. I'll actually expand behind the army. And this is really, really interesting. So even though, yeah, sure, it's in the middle of the map, it's actually not as exposed as you might, intuitively think. It's really quite interesting. I actually saw Stork do this just like last week on his stream. It was pretty fun. I think he lost the game anyway, but it was still pretty funny to see him do that. Alrighty, so looks like, wow, 2-2 is done already though, man. So these double forges, looks like they must have just finished. These double forges actually giving him insanely fast upgrades right now, although 2-2 already done for FlaF as well. So FlaF actually keeping pace, and he's also, look, he's got his Ultralisk Cabin, he's got his Filer Mount, he has actually got all this high level tech, and this can become quite dangerous for the Protoss, depending on the army composition. Interestingly, now that we're getting to late game PvZ, the Dark Archon gains additional uses. It's no longer a Maelstrom one-trick pony. In late game PvZ, I actually feel very strongly that Dark Archons are very underrated, and they should be a required unit. At least 1 or 2 Dark Archons should be a required unit in late game PvZ, because Feedback is an insanely good spell against Defilers. Defilers will always have max energy due to Consume, which means anytime you feedback a Defiler, it will always kill it, right? And feedback is only 50 energy, and it has basically... Oh, the Maelstrom though! The sick Maelstrom and the feedback! He instant killed the Defiler, he feedbacks the Ultralisk and so many Lings! Great use of the Dark Archon here. The last thing I was trying to say was feedback actually is one of the longest range spells in the game. I think it has like 13 range or something. It's almost the range of a siege tank. So you can always cast feedback before he can cast the Defiler spell on you, or at least usefully cast it. So having 1 or 2 Dark Archons in the late game in this matchup, I think, is really, really nice. If you have the APM and the multitask to actually make use of it. Now, in the meantime, looks like kAra is actually keeping position here in the middle of the map while he takes the top left. I think this is actually really good. You want to, it's like, Dark Swarm really hurts the Protoss. Yes, they have Zealots and Dark Templars that can fight under it. Technically, the Archons can as well with their splash damage. But the Dragoons become nullified. And Zerg still has Lurkers, right? And Ultra Ling is still very effective. Wait, does he not have Zealot speed? Wait a minute. I think kAra doesn't have Zealot speed. These Zealots are slow Zealots. What the heck? Wow, what the... Alright, well, he still has slow Zealots. But I guess it hasn't made a difference yet. And he's actually also got this base as well, which is really nice. Adding the gateways here is also nice. When the Zerg attacks into this, the units will bug out and try to run around here, especially Ultralisks. They have to, like, they'll cause traffic jams. It'd be really nice if you got a Reaver here as well. That would become, a virtually unbreakable defense. If you have Reavers, Storms, and Cannons to tank, that's really good. Looks like FlaF, by the way, is just slightly worried about drops at this bottom right base. So just adding some static defenses there, just trying to get a look-see at what's going on in the Zerg main. Protoss is just going to defend this fresh expansion, just like he's got the Pro transfer going on. Anything crazy? It looks like he's getting his 3-3 now. He still has a very, very low gateway count, which is concerning to me. I mean, yes, he's got a few more gateways sprinkled around here. I mean, actually, well, now that I think about it, technically he's got 4 more gateways, right? He's got 2 at the top left, 1 in the middle, 1 at the third. So I guess he's got, what, 10 gateways right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, he's got 9 gateways. Okay, so he's got 9 gateways. Looks like a bit of an engagement, but you can see Zerg's not going to commit here. He can't really commit into this very easily. Now he is going, though. He's going again. This is the second stage. Nope. He's going back. FlaF is getting very close to maxed. We're going into super late game PvZ here. So look at how many Ultras there are and how many Archons as well. This is the late game. And this is just so cool to watch. Oh man, all the crazy OP units running around. But look at all these Ultralisks just exploding in the map here, doing almost nothing. Another nice Maelstrom on these units. Oh man, looks like more Ultra Link coming from the bottom, but a pylon wall in combination with the Archon there does keep this base safe. Note that the value of cannons becomes quite diminished in the late game due to Dark Swarm. So cannons actually go from being like a powerful defensive building just by themselves into actually being more of like just a tanky distraction, so that you can storm and so that your Reavers can shoot from behind. Because obviously once the Dark Swarm is down, they don't do any damage, and Cracklings just kind of rip them apart. So it's really actually down to your Reavers and Storms to keep your bases alive here in the late game. And I love, you know, all these Archons. They're still slow! He still hasn't gotten speed. I mean, surely, I guess he just doesn't realize, but because that upgrade also is super fast, so if he noticed it, you know, a minute ago and got the research then, it should have been done by now. But we do have a big Doom Drop going into the 12 o'clock, or not 12 o'clock, into the top left position here. A couple of cannons being made. They will not be in time. And his army is actually, look at this, his army is at the bottom right. So I don't think there's any way for him to actually save this base. He should just commit to an attack at the bottom right. He's got a huge army here. He is actually going to the top left. I don't think that's the best idea. You can see. Oh man, there's the drop, and the army, where is he actually going? He seems to be slightly confused over where he actually wants to go. Alright, well. He's just gonna chill. Oh my god, a lot of lurkers in the middle of the map though. Whoa, hello, that is a lot of lurkers. And the Protoss army just seems to not know what it wants to do here. kAra is getting a little bit confused. To be fair, attacking into a Sunken Lurker Spore defense is quite scary, because that's one of the few places where Zerg can be super, super efficient against the Protoss army. And it's very easy to just mistakenly throw away a lot of units. But look at this, 2 clumped on the Lurkers, and great storms from kAra does take down most of that stuff. 4 DTs though, just walking in here, murdering everything. They're 3-3 now, by the way. Although max upgrades for what's his face? FlaF as well. 5-3 on the Ultralisk. The DT's actually kiting back to the cannons. It looks like the Protoss army finally deciding to commit to the 6 o'clock base, but this base might actually fall, and this is really problematic for FlaF, or sorry, for kAra. He's going to be down to just his 3rd base and the middle expansion. This Zerg base is definitely going to fall, but I think this was a fresh expansion. So I think this is not going to last too long. But look at this! Look at the multi-attacks! This is exactly how Zerg wants to play the late game. Abuse the multitasking, abuse the mobility about how he can just, oh my god, how he can send small groups of lurkers with his defilers, lurk probes transferring away through lurker fire. Somehow, some of them do survive, and he's coming up to actually help against these units, but FlaF doing a great job here. But look at the resource counts. The problem is that kAra has banked 3,500 minerals. So yes, that combination attack was devastating, and he's still losing probes here at the top left. But I think kAra will be okay for a little while. He's got to be careful though. kAra definitely has to be careful. Wow, is this guy even gonna get a free Archon kill? All of the cannons are dead. Are the Archons coming to save their buddy? Oh, he morphed. Is he gonna die though? Oh, the Archons are stuck on the oh, he won by 12 HP. The Archons got stuck on the wall. Finally, do take it down. But look at how many Ultra Ling are being made now by FlaF. Man, this is actually an insanely good game. By the way, FlaF has also mined out his main and his natural. So, you know, FlaF is basically going to be down to 3 base, or 2.5 base, although he's taking the 6 o'clock now. Whereas Protoss, I guess, look at this, he's not mining his 3rd. Wait a minute. He must have lost so many probes, actually, from that attack. Look at how few probes are on the map. He's got, like, 7 probes here, 6 probes here, and, like, 3 probes at his 3rd. kAra actually has almost no probes. But what that does mean is that all of his supply is an army, so his army must be so strong, but I don't think it's in the right position. Look at the minimap. The Protoss army is coming in from the bottom, but I think FlaF, yeah, he's just going to right-click the Nexus. The Nexus is immediately killed. He effectively one-shot the Nexus, but now all these Ultralisks are stuck at the top left unless he uses Overlords to ferry them out. He's actually going to run into the top left. But the giant Protoss Death Ball, if you can't fight it straight up, just counterattack the bases. You know, this is the late game Zerg strategy. When you start getting a billion Archons and Dark Archons and eventually Reavers, you know, it's virtually impossible for Zerg to win a straight up engagement. It's actually similar to late game ZVT after the Terran does a mech switch. You know, I mean, unless Maelstrom to High Templars. High Templars are organic units as well. But, you know, in late game TVT, it's almost impossible to actually win a straight up fight against the, you know, the maxed out Terran mech army. So what you need to do is you need to constantly, you know, drop his bases, backstab, you know, try and do like mind bombs and stuff, do like crazy muta switches, things like that in order to win. Because trying to fight straight up is just not going to go your way. And FlaF is really executing this well, but kAra keeping the supply lead though, just barely. And he's sending all his army up to the top left again. He sent a few units down here, but I think this 6 o'clock now is pretty well held onto by FlaF. And this though could become a problem as the game goes on, because okay, FlaF gets this base. Who gets the 12 o'clock? Even if FlaF gets the 12 o'clock, kAra will get the top left too. And because he's also got the middle base, that means it will have been 7 bases against 6. So technically, if they mine out everything like this, and Zerg gets this one, Zerg would have mined out 1 additional base to the Protoss. But Protoss can be so obscenely efficient in the late game that I don't think that's enough. I don't think FlaF can afford for it to get to that point. I mean, you can see these spells, how you can just completely nullify so many things that the Zerg can do. So FlaF, you can see, is constantly trying to deny the space. Doesn't want Protoss to mine from the top left. You know, doesn't want him to freely mine from the middle base. Although it looks like this is getting mined out on this side at least. So FlaF really being aggressive here. And he's actually, look at this, it's basically max on max. 180 supply to 180. You're gonna have another engagement here at the front. Few Ultralisks are coming down here. The only thing really missing from this Protoss army still is Reavers, but he's got a freaking Arbiter! What the? Wow, he's got an Arbiter. Now there are Overlords here, but Stasis is another spell that's not that bad. If you can Stasis like 5 Ultralisks, what you can also do is recall onto random bases and make it super annoying for the Zerg to deal with. The cloak itself maybe is not necessarily super useful, although if you combine it with like a big batch of Corsairs in the late game, that can be super effective as well. Because you can actually sometimes see Protoss switch back super late game into Corsairs, and you can even go like mass DTs, because mass DTs absolutely annihilates Ultralisks. I can't believe he's actually doing so well with so many Dragoons in his composition. Typically, Dragoons are effective more in the kind of in the mid game in PvZ, and late game they fall off a bit, similar to Zealots. They don't really scale well into the late game, primarily due to, I mean, they're very weak to both Dark Swarm and Plague, right? So really late game you don't want to have too many Dragoons in your army, but a second Arbiter is now finished. I can't believe he's doing this. He's got 2 Stargates for Arbiters. Oh my god, he's got such a low gateway count still. He's just got 2 Stargates for Arbiters. This is crazy. Actually, I should remind myself that there's more gateways on the map. So like 1 here, it's like 2 here. So it's not as low as it actually looks just looking at the main base. But FlaF is actually going to start getting low on minerals. Main and Nashville are gone. This base is getting super low. Presumably this base, well actually he's not mining with that many drones, so there's still a few minerals here. But, ooh, looks like a Plague actually grabbing this. By the way, Plague does also reveal cloak units. So that's another reason why the Arbiter Cloak isn't itself the most useful thing. It's more about the spells. Oh, so we got another drop going in. He's actually just dropping here. He's going to run in by ground from the top side. The Probe doesn't quite see it. Now he's going to see it. The Protoss army is outside the Zerg's natural. He's going to have to come back to defend this. I don't think he has enough stuff here. He's got 2 DTs, 1 High Templar. Is that enough? He does go for the Storm here, but these Ultralisks are just laughing at him, just mowing down these Photon Cannons. The Protoss army is coming back. More Ultras are coming down. Look at this. He's moving in. What's he going to do? He's going to right-click the Nexus. Maelstrom. Oh, the Stasis! He stasis and it's bugging out. Look at this. It's bugging everything out. The stasis cows. They can't even attack anything. Oh my god. And look how huge the ice cube thing is. Look how big that is. Oh my god. Meanwhile, it looks like another Defiler running into just Plague stuff. More units. Looks like some Scourge were trying to go for the Arbiter, but FlaF kind of losing control of his late game forces. Just too much stuff to deal with. kAra needs to just stay here and actually kill these. He could potentially Maelstrom it as well to be maximally efficient, which would be very cool. He could even mind control if he wants to be a baller. I don't know actually if he researched mind control though, because mind control it's a lot of energy. Yeah, he's just gonna Maelstrom. Mind control, not only do you have to research it from the Templar archives, but it costs 150 energy, and I believe it depletes your shields. So I think after you mind control something, your Dark Archon is super vulnerable because it just removes all your shields for some reason. I have no idea why Blizzard decided to do that. But anyway, another big engagement in the middle of the map. A lot of Ultra Lurkers. There's a Stasis grabbing one Lurker and both Defilers actually, although one Dark Swarm does get off here. The Ultras need to stay under the Dark Swarm, otherwise the Goons will murder them. That's the thing. Dragoons are weak to Defilers, but if your Dark Swarms are not on point and you cannot swarm your Ultralisks, Goons are actually fantastic against Ultralisk, believe it or not. They actually, you know, they have a relatively high single shot or relatively high damage on each individual attack, which is what you need against such a high armor value. I mean, Zealots basically do like no damage to Ultralisk because the armor applies twice, right? So this has 22 damage, and the Ultralisks have 6 armor, right? But that technically is actually 12 armor because the Zealot attack counts as 2 different attacks. So basically, the Zealots only do 10 damage per attack in the late game against Ultralisks. So that's actually very, very low. I mean, that's less than their original attack, right? The base damage from a Zealot attack is 16, but they only do 10 in the late game. Alright, anyway, looks like, oh, we got another drop going in, but now it's going into the Protoss main. Or not. He got this base as well, by the way. Oh, another Maelstrom, it looks like, on the front. Big Maelstrom on the Ultra. Man, that's so cool. Look at, like, the triple fireballs. Oh my god, it's like it like turns the Ultralisk into a firebender! No way! No! Oh my god! The massive Lurker Stasis, holy bananas. Have you guys ever seen that many Lurkers hit by one Stasis? 3 Overlords are now moving in to the main base. But this, for sure, grants kAra the moral victory, but he could actually lose a lot of his production here. He doesn't actually have that many production to begin with. What a freaking insane game this is. Oh my god. Alright, wait, looks like a couple of High Templars were actually at the rally point, so they're going to come back and defend this. Meanwhile, the pressure continues here at the front. Looks like the Lurkers came out of stasis and burrowed, but they burrowed all in a clump, so the Lurkers are just going to get obliterated by the Storms, although he needs one more Storm, though. It looks like he's run out of energy. He's run out of energy, but he still has Dragoons taking things down. It looks like Lings are still rampaging in the main base, potentially going to kill the Cybernetics core. The top base has only got 3 probes mining here. Middle base look like it's all gone. He left the Dark Archon at the left base, and the freaking Zerglings are just going crazy here. What the heck? The Zerglings, you just kill the Zerglings, man. Oh, got him. This one Zergling though is just gonna kill everything. Oh my god. Meanwhile, looks like the main Protoss force has been pushed back here, and look at kAra's supply. kAra went from almost max to plummeting down to 125. FlaF has the supply lead now. FlaF actually has the supply lead. I think FlaF can win this game still. It's been looking like kAra's been in control for a lot of the game, although to be fair, there were those drops made it very, very close, and FlaF was doing a very good job here. But I think kAra was possibly goofing around a little bit too much, didn't really pay attention to his macro, and is now in serious trouble. There's 5 Lurkers in his base. There's no detection here. He's got the 12 o'clock, not that the unit's mining. He's got, I mean, he was making 2 Stargate Arbiters here. He's got 3 Arbiters with almost maxed energy on the field. Oh man, look, he's leaving. He's abandoning his main. He's just gonna let it die. He's actually going to protect the 12 o'clock base. He needs to stasis the ramp. He needs to stasis the ramp. He needs to stasis the ramp. He needs to stasis block the ramp. If you stasis block the ramp, you can save it. You can still save it. You need to stasis block the ramp. Oh no, kAra, he's not stasis blocking the ramp, and now he's gonna lose at 12 o'clock. That stasis was not the most useful in the world, but now he's got more Arbiters here. He does have more Arbiters here, but is FlaF gonna get the Nexus? No, he's not targeting down the Nexus. The Nexus is losing his shields. Now he's targeting his Nexus. Now he right-clicked the Nexus. Look at how fast the HP falls. Can he kill it? A stasis? The double stasis to save the Nexus. But there's 2 lurkers underneath the Dark Swarm, and there's nothing that can actually kill them. No, the TTs are here. He's gonna save the red health Nexus just barely with the double stasis. But if FlaF actually controls these units as soon as they come out of stasis, he could potentially still kill that Nexus. Meanwhile, the entire main base is destroyed here. No more main base for kAra. FlaF has a 60 supply lead. He has completely turned this game around here, despite the madness of kAra. I cannot believe what I'm witnessing is a freaking Arbiter flying around trying to figure out what to do. A feedback combo with a Maelstrom here on the bottom, but look, he's got almost no units here to defend, and now the units come out of stasis, and they're just gonna kill him anyway. 2 Arbiters do almost no damage to anything. 0 DPS Arbiters. He's just looking for units to use right now. He's gonna lose his Templar Archives even. And I think FlaF has actually won this game. I cannot believe what I'm seeing right now. What a game. I don't think kAra can win anymore. I thought kAra had this game for sure. Well, actually, I don't know. It was still pretty close actually in the mid game. I thought he was ahead, maybe not having it for sure. But it turns out those Arbiters not helping him enough. I mean, it was definitely cool. But he has no more production, he has no more money. I mean, he's got 1,700 in the bank, but at this point in the game, that's really not that much. Huge storm on these Ultralisks, but they are so beefy. They can tank. Ultralisks actually require 4 full duration storms, well, 3.5 full duration storms to kill, which is insane. Oh my god, look at them just face tanking. Oh, the stasis! Oh my god. Just trying to save his life with the Arbiters. Holy. Alright, well, I think he's gonna lose his base. He's not gonna hold it with 1 Archon and 3 Arbiters. Look how much freaking ice there is. Oh my god. What? Even the Archon's in the ice. Look at him. Oh no. There's even Odulisks coming in here. Zerg is taking 12 o'clock. Protoss is taking the top left. But this Nexus is going to fall, ladies and gentlemen. What's over here? Alright, the Arbiters are piecing out. Arbiters are piecing out. He's gonna have to cancel this. And that means he's only mining from the remains of this third base. He lost his cybernetics core. He has to rebuild his entire tech tree. He has 0 tech buildings. He has to start from the cybernetics core. Like, if he wants to build Templars again, now he also needs to build a Citadel. Wait, what? Wait, you already have a cybernetics core. Wait, he just built a 2nd cybernetics core. He forgot that he made it at the 3rd. He's like, damn, I really need to make a Citadel right now. And he just makes a 2nd one. Holy moly. By the way, guys, this is game 2, and kAra's up 1-0. So if FlaF wins this game, we will go to a game 3 between these 2 players. I'm so glad I decided to cast this as the first match of the day. And this could be the final battle here. Do we have enough energy? No, we don't have enough energy for that many stasis. Plague, Swarm, Stasis, all of the things are being used in this battle. All of the spells. And GG from kAra. FlaF with the victory in that game. I cannot believe what a freaking game that was. Holy moly. FlaF with the comebacks there. kAra trying to do the sneaky strats and not able to. That means the series is 1-1, and we are going to a deciding game 3. This is the round of 32, by the way, guys. The round of 32 of the final qualifier for the Italian Esports Open, and it's all coming down to this. And at the bottom left is the blue Zerg. We do have FlaF. At the top left as the orange Protoss, we have kAra. And it is all down to this. Wait, did I have... Oh my god, I think I had the freaking overlay backwards the entire last game. kAra is Protoss, and FlaF is Zerg. Did that really happen? Did I really have that just wrong the entire game? Damn. Whoops. My bad, guys. That's my bad. I don't think anybody looks at my overlay, though. They just look at the top right. Which is fine, that's good. Alright, is it right now? I think it's right now. Sweet. So we are vertical positions, which means FlaF's Overlord will see kAra's base straight away. By the way, guys, kAra has not gone for a Forge Fast expand a single time this series. Or a Gateway expand. He's not gone for a Fast expand build in any of the 3 games. In the first game, on Python, he went 10-12 gate. And then last game on Fighting Spirit, he went for a 1 base Sayle DT opening into expansion. So we'll see what he decides to do here. He's opted to scout horizontally. He's not checking either of the middle bases for Overlords. He's just going straight horizontally. And because all his buildings are in his base, he won't see the Overlord for a while here. And it'll be interesting to see how far up this Overlord goes, because most Zerg players, if they get to here and they don't see buildings making the wall, they'll change direction to the top right because they assume their opponent's going for an expansion build. But given that kAra has gone for 1 base builds both games so far, I guess FlaF should send his Overlord all the way into the main. And it looks like sending the cross-map drone scout as well because he is 12 hatching, so he wants to make sure he's not going to die to any Zealot shenanigans. And unfortunately for kAra, he will scout this dead last. Now, if he had scouted this earlier, he could potentially do some pressure with the initial Zealot, but I think by the time he sees it, it'll be a bit late. So he'll probably just camp the ramp. Alrighty then. It's actually pretty brave of FlaF to go 12 hatch here in the last game. Yeah, and he is going to fly all the way up here, so he's going to see what's going on. Zealot's just going to hold position here, probably. He's actually not. This is very interesting. I wonder if this is because he saw the drone scout at that time. A cross-map drone scout at the time that he saw it with the probe usually means it's a 12 hatch. I think. Like, I think if you overpull, you don't need to drone scout, do you? I guess you can. I guess sometimes you do. But anyway, Zealot's gonna come in here and pressure. See what he can do. Oh! Could get this drone. Not quite. And now the links come out. So yeah, he's just gonna leave. Yeah, there's not that much he can do here. And looks like we're gonna go for, well, I guess we'll have to see when the core finishes, whether it is the Stargate for the Sayle DT build again. Or not. 8 lings are coming out. Wow, he actually didn't go back. He's hiding them here, waiting for the lings to leave, and then going in. And he's just completely guessing whether the lings are going out, because he has no vision, obviously. And unfortunately, he's gonna run smack into them. Look at this. FlaF with the mind reads, realizing that something is fishy here, and actually comes back to intercept the Zealot. There's a 2-minute stream delay, by the way, guys. So even though that looked pretty crazy, that was all game sense from FlaF. Wow, very, very interesting. Huh. And we're going lair straight away off 2 hatches. So this time he could actually be rushing for mutas. You can get some Scourge, immediately kill the first Corsair, and then just kill the Protoss with mutas. I think that's a pretty solid strat. But it's actually going to be something else this time. It's actually going to be 3 gateways and a Citadel. Presumably this is for speed loss, but he can still make a Templar Archives if he wants. He can do the anytime build and just mass DT, but it doesn't look like he's doing that. He is just going for 3 gate mass speed loss. It's going to be an all-in, guys. kAra doesn't want to play another 40-minute Arbiter PvZ. He just wants to go for the quick win here. Alright. And this is for their tournament lives. By the way, this is very important. This is the last qualifier. And the thing is, given the way the points works, if you win the qualifier, even if you haven't gotten any points so far, I think if you won this qualifier starting at 0 points, I think you would still get in the top 8, depending on how the other players do. I think it's kind of conditional on how the rest of the field goes, but you would have a very solid shot of still making the top 8. No, he is actually getting Templar Archives. So he's going 3-gate DT. Is he actually just gonna anytime him in the face? Oh my god. Oh my god. If FlaF loses to this, he's gonna be so mad. He's getting Aspire? He's not. He got the third hatch and the Hydra Den. Now he's getting Aspire. Interesting. I would have thought going for such a fast lair off 2 base, he would have just rushed for the Spire, but I guess not. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Oh, the run around. He's got to hide the Zealots. Ooh, he's hiding the Zealots. And now he goes. Now the speed. Now FlaF knows. He knows what's going on. What is the Temple Archives for? He didn't actually make anything using the Temple Archives. He still only got speed lots. Here we go. Speed lots running in. He's got to make Sunkens. He's making 2 creep colonies right now. I would actually make a 3rd one if I were FlaF. This attack is going to be so strong. I guess he's going to make... Maybe he'll make an Archon to deal with Mutas or something like that. Maybe that's what that's for. I don't really know. But here we go. He's busting in right now. The drones are coming off the line, but they came off late. The first Sunken is going to fall straight away. The Zealots on the ramp are going to kill all of the Hydras. This attack, though, might not break through because the second Sunken colony is wailing away on all the units. He's going to run 2 Zealots into the main base. The other units are going to leave. The counterattack has been repelled. I still don't know what the... Okay, he actually made 2 High Templar now. Very interesting build here from kAra. I do not think it's actually worked out for him with this attack. Oh, man. And what is the follow-up? Although, FlaF is on quite a low... Well, actually, no, that's not that bad. That's actually not that bad. And the 2 High Templars are actually coming down as Templars. Did he really just get Storm? Just all off the 1 base? The 1 base speed lot Templar all in? I mean, he's not an all in. I shouldn't say all in because he's going to get an expansion now. He's actually building a Nexus at his expansion. I'm actually just amazed that these didn't turn into an Archon. Oh, they're going to get sniped though. He's got to be careful. Zergin's going for a snipe. Not quite. Sorry guys, I'm definitely miscalling a lot of things here. This is a very strange strategy. I've never seen something like this before, going straight High Templar. Usually in this case, if you were to go for the Templar Archives, you would either get DTs to overpower him, or do some kind of weird like speed lot Archon timing up 1 base. But he's actually left them as 4 High Templars, and that actually could be the most effective thing to do. Well, I don't know. I guess we'll see here. Now he's used 2 of his storms. He's gonna make them into an Archon. He actually clicked the wrong one, I think. I think there was still enough energy for 1 more storm. Lurkers were actually on the way, but he killed the egg before it finished. Now a single Mutalisk. It looks like FlaF actually double teching, going Muta and going for Lurkers, and it looks like that might cost him because he didn't have enough for either. But looks like with the drone combination, he's gonna finish the Archon. It's gonna die. The Muta dies, and it looks like only 1 Zealot is left. No, the Sunken falls as well. Everything is dead. But FlaF holds, but the problem is the Nexus is almost finished. There's another Archon at home here. But what about the counterattack from FlaF? 4 Zerglings can cancel this cannon if the Archon doesn't come down. The Archon needs to come down right now to actually protect this cannon. Otherwise, these Lynx can kill it. But it looks like he's not going for it. He's running into the main base. He's trying to see what he can see. The natural expansion is finished. The supplies are incredibly close. 1 probe immediately sniped off here. It looks like he's just going to go for the gas probes. Oh man, looks like a cannon even making in the in the main base. I mean, the thing is, against modern Muta control, Archons really have a difficult time defending. Look, another probe is going to fall as well, so you really want at least 1 or 2 cannons to defend against that. But it looks like it is just Lurkers here for FlaF, and he's actually being defensive with them. He can be okay, no, he does have 1 at the front, because the thing is, there's no Robo yet, right? Oh! He'll need a second Storm now. Or, wait. He can use the splash from the Archon. He can put a Zealot on top of it and actually splash it to death. That would be cool. Oh man, what an exciting game. Oh my guys, FlaF and kAra, man, they're just playing some intense games here. This is actually crazy. Holy moly. This is like Drone and Mazur just playing the most insane PvZs. Alright, double evolution chamber for those upgrades. Both these players seem to really prioritize those fast upgrades. Like we saw last game, 2-2 was done really quickly for kAra, but at the same time, I think like 2-1 or 2, or no, I think 3-2 was actually done for FlaF at that time. It was insanely fast upgrades. Lurkers now, pulling back from the Zealot Archon. Against these Lurkers, this army shouldn't really do anything. I mean, obviously they have no detection yet, and also this is like a pure melee composition that doesn't do very well against Lurkers. So FlaF gonna take his third base now. And it's so weird because we've kind of converged on a more normal looking mid-game, right? This is like kind of what you would expect after a Gateway Expand opening. It's just we've taken a very aggressive route here. This actually reminds me a lot of one of Day 9's dailies, where I think he was just talking about build orders in general. And he talks about there's a lot of early game openings that you can do, but very typically they kind of converge in the mid-game to look very, very similar to each other regardless of what opening you did. You just kind of get there in a different way. And it was very interesting. This definitely makes me think a lot about this game. Because if you think about it, you know, the Speedlots is High Templars with, you know, a 2-base Protoss, and we've got a 3-base Zerg who's going Hydro Lurk. I mean, this is mid-game PvZ. That's what it looks like, right? We've just gotten here with such a strange opening, strange early game. Looks like some Zerglings just making sure there's no third base going up for Protoss. He's getting his Observatory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gateways is very good. That's a pretty good number off 2 base. And looks like the Zealot Archon Force is just gonna run around and allow him to take his own mineral only. Supply counts about 30 supply for kAra. I would say kAra's ahead. He delayed the Zerg's third by a lot compared to the normal openings, and so that together with the supply lead, I would say, means kAra's in pretty good shape. But a really fast hive here from FlaF. Look at this. I didn't notice the Queen's Nest before, but it didn't actually register in my mind. But it seems like he's going for a very, very fast Queen's Nest. For a hive. I wonder what that's actually for. I mean, you could do like some Guardians back here. That would be pretty exciting, right? But that's probably not that likely, is it? It's probably just for what? Dark Swarm, for Adrenal Glands, for the Zerglings. Ooh, sneaky, sneaky. Sneaky, sneaky. If all the probes transfer to one of these patches in range, that could be very bad. Meanwhile, looks like setting up a Sunken Lurker Spore Defense here at the third base, also getting ready to take this fourth. Nice big Lurker field. Now the Protoss Army's going to attack. Where is the Observer? I don't see the Observer yet. The Observer's coming a little bit further back, but it's very difficult to break into these positions without Reavers. Looks like we are going in though. He's actually going in. You see the Observer actually died to the Spore Colony thing. There's one more in the back. Big storms on the incoming units, but there's mostly Lurkers, not that many other units, so it's difficult to storm inefficiently. He actually kills his own Observer with the storm. He can't continue. He killed his own Observer with the Psionic Storm. He's actually just going to try and kill this hatchery before leaving, but that could possibly cost him the rest of his army here. He's taking a lot of damage as he does this, and 3 more Lurkers do spawn. He's going to see this hatchery. Maybe he can force a cancel on this hatchery. The probes are transferring into the Lurker, though, and I don't think he notices because he's too busy microing at the front. Lack of obs, continuing to push this army away, although it looks like he might still force this cancel. Finally, he figures this out, but this Lurker has killed 7 probes before kAra realizes what's going on. Very, very nice move there to keep that Lurker there, and looks like he is going to force the cancel on the hatchery, but at the cost of all but 2 of his Archons. 15 kills on this Archon, though. What a beast. It looks like going to use possibly 2 storms to kill this. Yep, there we go. So that's going to be gone. But meanwhile, though, kAra has got his own 4th base. His 4th base is going to finish faster than the Zerg's 4th. That is actually crazy. That is so good for Protoss. Meanwhile, wait, he's actually just running down to the bottom right. What the heck? Why is he not going back to his main army? This is such a valuable force here. 2 Archons and a Dragoon in the early mid-game. That is so, so valuable. Do not want to just randomly chuck those in a corner of the map. Oh, no. Alright, well, looks like he's just gonna lose them. I guess it would have been better just to leave him in the bottom right after all. But, you know, if you can regroup those with your army, you should definitely do so. Now, I think with the Hive, FlaF has only gotten Adrenal Glands, which is the attack speed upgrade for the Zerglings, of course, which gives them the nickname Cracklings. For anyone who's not familiar with that, wondering why I keep calling these Cracklings instead of Zerglings. Once they get Adrenal upgrade, they do morph into Cracklings. And they're gonna see this 4th base, but there's nothing you can do about it. So he's actually gonna just double expand, it seems. I think he's just gonna take this base, possibly the natural actually. Nope, just gonna take this mineral only. Just keep things close by so he can make sure he can protect everything. But that's not that great though, because that's 2 mineral only bases for Zerg, who is on Hive Tech and wants to start building those gas units, the gassy units, you know, Filers, Ultralisks. Although it does seem that FlaF has quite a lot of gas banked, which will allow him to build a whole bunch of Ultras like we saw last game. Double Forges again. Since he's on 4 base, this is fantastic. Love the double upgrades in PvZ if you're on at least 3 base. Whew. Alrighty. Looks like we're stabilizing a little bit here, actually. Gonna go for that late game PvZ. Could potentially see some more shenanigans from kAra. No Dark Archon rush this time, though. And I guess no Arbiters yet, although it's still a bit early for that. And looks like, look at this, kAra just content to expand himself. They want to go to the late game again, guys. We could see some more crazy stasis. I think it's going to happen. I think at this point, actually, going for some Guardians, just a couple of Guardians in the back, might be really cool. It would be really good. Because you can block both this natural and this natural just with a couple of Guardians. It's really nice. Trying to do some sniping. Not going to happen. Man, I can't believe after all that aggression in the early game, we're actually going to go to another 40-minute PvZ. Oh, boom! I don't think that was cancelled. I think he actually tried to save that. I do not think kAra actually managed to cancel that Nexus in time. Did not expect it to fall so quickly with all his units right next to it. But it does get killed there, so he's going to have to remake that. Which is a nice little win there for FlaF. Pretty good. Pretty decent drone saturation. Or sorry, probe saturation. Across 4 bases. It's maybe a little on the light side, but I think it's okay. And it looks like he's now looking for an opening here. The Overlord's going to spot the army positioning. This base has not gotten all the static defenses set up yet, but it looks like kAra actually expected the base to be here, maybe. No, he is actually coming down now. He realizes the Lurker's coming into position. They're a little bit late, but it might be in time still. The Scourge coming in to snipe the Observers. That is the crucial thing. If they can snipe the Observers, the attack will immediately end because he won't be able to kill off the Lurkers, but the one Observer does survive. The Scourge are unable to kill it, and I think this base might fall, but he might get a Dark Swarm off. That would be very, very crucial, and the other Observer is going to suicide into a Spore colony, and I think FlaF will hold this barely, maybe. There's one Lurker with almost no health on the top side, but it cannot be seen by any of the Protoss units. It's just going to slowly but surely kill off all the stuff, but it looks like kAra might once again go for the hatchery. No, he's going to pull back. He knows he can't actually do it with all the Krakens coming in, and kAra is going to throw away his first army here for very little gain. He busted down the defenses, but he did not kill the hatchery. He did no damage to the economy. And Protoss armies are extremely expensive. You do not want to be suiciding them like this. Technically, yes, he did a pretty close exchange with Zerg. Zerg lost a lot of units as well. But I mean, I find this to be a bit more damaging for the Protoss. Having said that, kAra has more bases, or even bases technically with the Zerg, which means his economy is actually stronger than FlaF's. So maybe trading away like that is not the worst move in the world, but in general, you really don't want to commit to an attack if it's going to kill your entire army. Even if you can exchange a similar value, just the value of having a solid core Protoss army is more than just the mineral cost, if that makes sense. It's kind of like for Terrans, when you make a mech army, you have a core of siege tanks, and it's just not worth, you know, suiciding half your tanks to kill an expansion or something. It's far more valuable just to keep a core of siege tanks always alive, always threatening, even if you have to play it a bit more cautiously. Alright, it looks like Protoss Army has been remade. 2-1 upgrades. 22 kills on that freaking Argon. You guys see that? 22 kills on that bad boy. What the upgrades look like for Zerg? 2-2 actually. FlaF out upgrading his opponent, but losing a Defiler, possibly to pathing. Depending on how you click, sometimes the units go along the top, sometimes they go along the bottom. But it looks like, oh man, again, the defense is not quite there. But it looks like since this force has a lot of Zealots and DPs and Archons and not that many Dragoons, the Lurkers are scaring him back. Look at the minimap, by the way. Big surrounds coming in from the backside, Ultralink coming in from the back. Natural has been taken here. Top right natural has also been taken. There's a random link blocking that base. But we are going to a split map PvZ here on Circuit Breaker. We are going for another insane late game PvZ. Do we have any crazy tech options yet? No, no Arbiters yet. Still just staying on this ground army. And he's actually going to kill a lot of these Ultralisks for free. This is a big mistake by FlaF here. He might lose one more node. Very lucky to get that one out alive. Ultralisks are great, but at the moment, they need the support of Defilers. They need the support of Zerglings to really shine. Actually, you know, the Ultralisks, despite how scary they look, they don't have the highest DPS. Like Archons have way more DPS if you include the splash damage, but they're really good at tanking up stuff, and they allow the Cracklings to just go nuts and kill everything. The Cracklings are actually the main DPS. The Ultras are actually more of a tanky unit, although obviously they still do a decent amount of damage themselves. But you really need the supporting units, and once again, kAra's army gets crushed in another attack here, but he's staying ahead in supply crucially. He's losing some units here and there, but he's trading away a lot of the Ultralisks, and he probably should pull these High Templars back because they have no more support. Looks like one Crackling just working its way around. A nice double gateway block. This is actually really good. This is Ultralisk tight, I believe, which means Ultralisks will bug out and will make it difficult for Zerg to attack into this, although the Zerglings can obviously run through everything. But it looks like with 4 cannons, it's probably going to be enough to defend. Some units coming over here as well. Let's have a look at the bases. kAra really loves building a gateway or two at every single base, even like the mineral onlys. That's actually really interesting to me. I definitely understand, for example, building gateways here. I think that's great. It seems weird to me to build like 2 gateways at the 12 o'clock. But I mean, if that's his style, then that's fine, you know. It just seems a little bit weird. I'm not sure if I've seen any other Protoss player build gateways like that at every single base, you know? Building a gateway here or there is fine to randomly build High Templars. He's taking the base between them. Does FlaF see this? Oh, he does see it with the Overlord. FlaF sees it with the Overlord. He knows. kAra's taking the freaking 9 o'clock base here. By the way, guys, due to the layout of Circuit Breaker, there will be a lot more battles over these middle 2 bases. You know, on Fighting Spirit, it's much easier to claim like the side bases as your own since they're all high ground. They're kind of you know, protected by the ramp. But I feel like, so now both players have effectively claimed their half of the map, right? They've got all the bases that, you know, quote unquote belong to them. But now the 3 o'clock and the 9 o'clock, these 2 side bases will be highly contested by both of these players. You know, oh my god, we got a drop though. Triple Overlord drop. The Zealots are camping underneath. They're spawn camping the Zerg. Oh man. Zergling spawn camping, banned from server. And wow, there's actually a lot of Cracklings in here. Are they max upgraded? Yeah, they're 3-3 Cracklings against 2-2 Zealots. They are beastly. Look at them just mowing down the Zealots. Ah, yeah, look. The Yankees pulling back the entire army. Look at the minimap. kAra just pulled back his 170 supply army to deal with a control group of Zerglings. That's how serious this is. That's actually a bit of a mistake. This kind of, like, he didn't get punished for this time, but this move, pulling back your entire army for one control group of Zerglings, can cost you games. Because if all his army's over here, and let's say Zerg then attacks this base, he could lose this base and potentially even this base for free, right? The army needs to be in a good position where it can respond to the main threats. You can't be sending that many units just to deal with a small amount of Zerglings. Looks like this base has been taken out as well. Now, to be fair, that's a mistake that a lot of people make. Like, I make that mistake all the time on ladder. So, you know, it's not like I'm just plainly criticizing him or anything, but it's definitely something you have to be aware of as a Protoss. But this is something you can bring back most of your army for. A 7 Overlord drop is much more serious, especially with fewer units at your reinforcements. And Ultralisk this time in the drop, Dragoons do spawn and are immediately cut down in the base. This is definitely what you need to bring your army back for. It looks like the first drop was just an appetizer, and this is the real deal right here. Oh man, Storm's here. The Dragoon's just bugging out because it's on rally point. It's just moving. Crackling's killing off the gateways. He's got to make sure he's building more gateways. I can see more gateways building at the top right. Look at the minimap. This is what I'm talking about though. The entire Protoss army comes to the top left. The Zerg immediately attacks the top right. This is the same principle he used in the last game. However, kAra, thanks to building gateways everywhere, actually has reinforcing units already there to help defend, and it looks like gonna clean up this attack in his base, remaking a random cannon at the top left corner of his base. It's now a duel between the cannon and the Ultralisk, and the Ultralisk wins! The Ultralisk wins with 21 HP! It looks like FlaF, realizing he can't actually break the top right natural, is instead going for the mineral only, but a lot of his army is actually not under the Dark Swarm. Meanwhile, Ultraling actually cutting off the Protoss army in the middle of the map here. It's just a complete mess this game. This attack is still going on. I don't know what he's attacking. He's attacking the cannons. Ultraling fighting the Protoss army in the middle of the map. The High Templars just walking around everywhere. Random Ultralisk appears to have died in the main base. It's only Overlords left, but look at this. He's cutting down most of the Protoss army, and once again, look at this. FlaF has the supply lead, guys. The mineral only is gonna die. FlaF has the supply lead. kAra is yet again falling apart here in the late game against FlaF. Just cannot keep up with the Zerg player. This base has been destroyed. I don't know if this is a drop or something, but it looks like FlaF now with a 20 supply lead is rolling in with his Ultra Ling. No big ball of Archons to save kAra now. kAra is in some serious trouble. Holy moly, look at the Ultraling swinging in. There's a DT though, he's got no Overlords. The DT could kill a lot. 3-3 has finished for the Protoss. Looks like the Overlord's finally peacing out. There's a random Defiler just chilling here. He's gonna lose a freaking Overlords to the cannons. And look at this. FlaF, he's trying to break through the wall here. Probably should try and kill one of these gateways so he can actually get in. Yeah, he's gonna target down one of the gateways so the Ultras can get in. The cannon's not doing anything since the Ultras are under storm, and here we go! The floodgates are open. He's running in. He's actually going for the other gateway in the Dark Swarm. Look at this. The freaking control because the pylons are blocking. Oh my god, the pylons. Look at this. It's just a major traffic jam here at the top right base. But FlaF now going for the top left as well. kAra, he's got no units left. He needs units. kAra, where's the army? This base is overrun. It's like the zombie apocalypse. Oh my god. The military was holding off the zombies, but some idiot, like, you know, brought his infected wife into the zone and opened the floodgates, and now everything is collapsing around the humans. Look at this, sub 100 supply for kAra. He's losing all his probes here. More units coming in, more Zerglings coming in. The natural expansion is completely gone, losing his forges. And this is going to mean his main base is going to fall as well. He only had 3 gateways left after that initial attack. Oh my god. By the way, guys, while this has been happening, not a single Zerg base has been attacked. Look at the minimap. There's no orange past the center line. There's one High Templar is just like, oh my god, please don't find me. This is like the random guy that just like lives in a farm in the middle of nowhere, and he's just hiding from the zombies, just living out his life. Like, and like the group of survivors goes to his house. He's like, no, you're bringing the zombies. Leave me alone. Go away. I don't want you to be here. And then he finally, you know, accepts them and tries to help them out, and then he gets eaten by a zombie. That freaking guy, man, is so unlucky. Look at him. Look at him. He's just chilling. Little High Templar guy. He doesn't care. Like, whatever. It's not my problem anymore. You guys deal with it. All the bases belong to us. And FlaF, with the comeback here. FlaF lost the first game, guys. Remember, on Python, FlaF lost the first game, and is now, after 2 insanely long late game EVPs, is coming back to knock kAra out of the qualifier, and I'm pretty sure that means kAra has no more chance to actually qualify for this. He didn't have enough points. So kAra will not qualify for the playoff round here to get into the main event of the Italian Esports Open. Manor Hatchery! Oh my god! FlaF is building a Manor Hatchery at the Protoss base. Oh my god. What a game here, boys. The double manor hatchery. Oh, yeah. And I think that's it, guys. I think that is going to be it. Well, got some good old classic GG timing right here. Oh no, the High Templar died. He's not in the middle of the map anymore. Alright. It's like kAra. Just chilling at 35 supply. It's alright, he's got this. We're fine, boys. We're fine. Main base isn't here anymore. And GG FlaF takes it down 2-1 and advances to the round of 16. That was a round of 32 match between two Titans. But it is all over. FlaF advances. Holy moly. That game.